Hey guys, it's me here. Today I am going to share how I budgeted my way out of debt in 90 days. I know budgeting is not fun, it's not exciting, you don't want to do it. But I have found ways to make it more fun and less painful. So let's get into this. Okay, so step no. 1 is we need to track our spending. And I have 2 different methods that I like to use. One is using an app called Rocket Money. I actually have a link down below for it. All you do is connect all your credit cards and bank accounts, and it will automatically categorize everything that you spend money on. And at the end of the month, you can see exactly what you spent on bills, on food, gas, entertainment, shopping, etc. And then from there, you can kind of pinpoint where your money is going, and if you are overspending in certain areas. The other method that I like to use is just using a good old-fashioned notebook. Whenever you go out and spend money, just write it down. Now I know this is annoying, but I think it makes it a lot more real when you actually have to physically write down how much you spent on coffee that day versus using an app or using a spreadsheet. If you're writing it down in a notebook, it feels like it's bleeding money, and therefore you're less likely to want to spend money. Step number 2 is to categorize your expenses. When you're doing this, you want to split your expenses into 2 groups. You want to have needs, and then you want to have wants. Your needs are things that are absolutely necessary. This is your rent, your utilities, your groceries, the bare necessities. And then your wants are things that are not absolutely necessary. So this is eating out, buying new clothes, subscriptions, etc. Anything that you would like to have but you could live without. Once you've categorized your expenses, you want to decide which expenses are flexible and which ones are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable expenses are things that you cannot lower at all. For example, for me it's my rent. I pay $1,800 and that's all that I can pay. I can't pay any less than that because that's what my landlord has set it at. Whereas my grocery bill, I can lower that by choosing to cook more at home instead of eating out. So these are examples of non-negotiable versus negotiable expenses. After you've done that, you want to decide which expenses you're going to cut completely. So for me, anything that was discretionary, anything that was a want and not a need, I cut completely for 3 months. So I did not eat out at all. I did not buy any new clothes. I didn't buy anything that wasn't a necessity. I only spent money on things that were bare necessities, and I cut those wants completely. After doing that, I was able to look at my budget, and I had a lot more wiggle room to work with. And then I took all of the money that I was saving from not spending money on wants, and I put it towards my debt. So for example, if I was paying $300 a month for my groceries, but I chose to cook more at home, I was able to lower that bill to $200. And then I took that $100 that I saved and I put it towards my debt. Step 3. Determine your monthly expenses. Now that you've gone through and cut unnecessary expenses, you should have a pretty good idea of how much you're spending each month on your needs. Add up all of your monthly expenses, and this is going to be your total monthly expenses. For me, this amount was about $3,500 a month. This included my rent, it included my utilities, it included my groceries, transportation, insurance, all of the bare necessities. Now if you have debt like I did, add that amount in here too. So for me, I had about $20,000 worth of student loans that I had taken out to go to nursing school, and I was paying about $250 a month towards that loan. So when you add in your total monthly expenses, plus your debt payments, that was my total monthly expenses. Mine was about $3,750. Step 4. Calculate your monthly surplus. To figure out your monthly surplus, you want to take your income and subtract your total monthly expenses. Your monthly surplus is how much money you have left over after paying for all of your expenses. So there's 2 different options. You could either save that money, or you could put it towards debt. I chose to put mine towards debt because I wanted to be debt-free as soon as possible. I was sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and I wanted to be able to have a buffer between myself and having no money in my account. So I chose to put that money towards debt. Step 5. Stick to your budget. The hardest part about all of this is sticking to your budget. That is the hardest part. It's easy to say you're going to cut back on wants, and it's easy to say you're going to save money and invest in yourself. It's hard to actually do it, but I have some tips to help make it easier. First tip, automate your savings. Automate your savings so that it is something that happens in the background, and you do uneven notice that money coming out of your account. You want to set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account, and this is going to be for your emergency fund. Having an emergency fund is super important, and it gives you peace of mind knowing that if something bad happens, if you lose your job, if your car breaks down, you have something to fall back on financially. Having an emergency fund also helps you avoid going into debt when unexpected expenses come up. So I would recommend saving at least 1 to 3 months worth of living expenses in your emergency fund. The second thing you can do to help stick to your budget is to use cash for your variable expenses. Variable expenses are things that can change from month to month. They're not fixed. So for me, my groceries are a variable expense because I can choose to cook at home more and therefore save more money. And the third tip that I have for you is to reward yourself. You have to celebrate the small wins. So for me, I was very excited when I paid off my first credit card. I paid off my first credit card in 6 months. It was a credit card that I had used to buy things from Shine because who doesn't love Shine? And I was spending so much money on Shine. I was spending money that I did not have, and I was racking up so much debt because of Shine. So when I finally paid it off, I was so excited. I went out and I bought myself a nice dinner. I went to one of my favorite restaurants and I celebrated. I was so proud of myself for paying off that credit card, and I wanted to reward myself for my hard work. So if you were going through this process, and you were cutting back, and you were saving money, and paying off debt, make sure to celebrate those milestones. Make sure to reward yourself for your hard work, because it's hard, it's difficult, it's not fun, and it's not exciting. But when you do it, and when you see the payoff, it's all worth it. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some ideas of how you can start budgeting and paying off debt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.